All right. Episode 3, I think. At some point, I'm going to have to do a lot of math to keep track of these, but right now, this is episode 3. We're going to call this one Living the Dream. I talk about what living the dream means to me and perhaps what it might mean to you. And I'm no math major, but we go through a little bit of math and order of operation and what's the equation that gets us to live in the dream and do what we want with our lives. I hope you enjoy. With a mic this high end, can I just do this and you guys can just record my thoughts? Is it working? Hey man, where do you get these ideas for your podcast? You know, ChatGPT has nothing to do with me. Like, exactly. Hey man, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Man, I'm living the dream. How many times have you said that? How many times have you heard that? And how many times was it accompanied with some bullshit? If I tell you that I'm living the dream, it's because I mean it. And I'm currently living my dream. So what does that look like for you? What it looks like for me, what it looks like for you might be two different things. We need to create the life that we want, right? And living the dream is an interesting concept because a lot of times the things we dream about, they're huge, they're big, they're way down the line, right? But what about today? What about right now? One of my favorite scriptures says, men are that they might have joy. First part of that scripture is, Adam fell that men might be, and men are that they might have joy. Where does joy exist? Joy exists right now. I heard it put one time that if you have 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future, you're pissing all over today. And it's the truth. Right now, this moment is all that we have, really, and it's all that matters. It's important that we learn from the past. It's important that we prepare and plan for the future, but not at the cost of missing today. So are you living the dream? If you haven't reached that big, lofty goal or that dream that's at the end of the line, then how are you living the dream? Again, that comes from tuning into nothing's promised. You don't have tomorrow, hopefully, but you don't know that. So what about today? How are you living the dream today? That ties into recognizing something, I guess it's an equation that I've kind of developed. And again, I'm sure someone said it in another way. None of us are saying anything new, right? My hope is that the things that I say or that I repeat or that I regurgitate with my own flair connects with you. And maybe it's something you've heard 100 times, but the way that I said it, it meant something to you. So the equation for living the dream, perhaps, right, is that the dream equals the destination, right? But the destination, I believe, is ultimately the journey. Because we don't know how long we get. We've all got expiration dates, and I hope I live a ripe old age of 127, right? But what if I don't? So what I do today and finding joy in the now, in this present moment, is important. And that matters. And that matters because then, if God allows me, and I do get to that big, lofty destination, dream, or goal, more than likely, I've put in the work for the right now to be who I need to be so that when I arrive there, I feel good about that. Mentioned it in, I think, the first episode. If you reach your goals tomorrow, do you like who you see in the mirror? So the dream equals the destination. It's where we're going. It's where we're heading. But the destination is the journey. We have to enjoy and be present for the journey. How do we do that? I think it starts with some really basic things. Reaching your goals, whether they're financial, whether it's owning your own business, whether it's a family, owning a home, whatever it is, it's different for everybody. In order to reach those things and have success with those things, you first need to organize who you are as a person and who you want to be. Your non-negotiables. What are the things you do? What are the things you don't do? When it comes to building the life that we want, building the better you, as I say all the time, again, there's this equation, there's this order of operation. We get inspired, right? That inspiration leads to motivation, right? You got to stay motivated, right? One of my members came strolling into the gym, head low, shuffling his feet, not wanting to be there. And I was sitting in my office doing some work. As he walked by, he comes in, he goes, "Man, how do you stay motivated all the time?" And I think my answer surprised him because without skipping a beat, I said, "I don't." And then he kind of looked at me funny, and I said, "Man, motivation, that's not what gets it done. Motivation is very short-lived. Motivation lasts for seconds, minutes maybe, right? Watch a YouTube video, one of your favorite bodybuilders training right before you go to the gym, and you're like, "Man, I'm so pumped to train some legs." You were inspired by that. You got the motivation. More than likely, by the time you close the computer, get your stuff, and you're driving to the gym, the motivation is already weaning a little bit, right? So the inspiration leads to the motivation, but the motivation leads to the discipline. So I told that member, I go, "Man, it's not motivation that keeps me coming here, that keeps me training when I don't want to. It's the discipline. The discipline to do what you need to do, what you know you need to do, even if you're not quite feeling it that day, right? When we find the discipline and we do what we need to do and we show up when we need to show up, how we need to show up, that's when we start winning, right? And we stack that together, right? Time under tension. There's another cliche term. Well, it's time under tension, man, especially in the gym, right? Just time under tension. Well, what does that mean? Time under tension is lots of things. From the gym standpoint and building muscle, right? Time under tension is, I'm 35 and I've been strength training since I was 13. That's time under tension, right? But I also preach time under tension being within the set. Yeah? So if I'm doing a back movement, if I'm doing some sort of row variation, I'm trying to establish what muscle that I want to load and be my prime mover. What am I working here? Why am I doing this? Very specific. Not just, I'm training back. No, where do I want to feel this? I work to feel that, activate, stimulate that tissue, and keep it active through the entire set. And that's time under tension, right? So going back to our discipline plus time, maybe the most important part of this equation we're discussing, discipline plus time is what equals results. Not very many things happen overnight. People think it does. Oh man, he just must be nice. One of my mentors, Rob Bailey, talked about that. Got a statement on social media when someone had seen him in his truck, big, sweet, one-of-a-kind 450 dually truck, and I think the statement was, "Oh, it must be nice." And you don't know what that person's been through to get to where they're at. You think it just happened overnight and overnight success? It doesn't work that way. Very rarely. What you don't see is the time, the energy, the years, the early mornings, the late nights to get to where they're at. Oh, it must be nice. Nah, man. It is nice to live the life you want to live. It is nice to have the discipline. Discipline plus time equals results. Living the dream is doing all of those things. Doing the things that you need to do today to help step into the shoes of the person that you want to be. Because if you're not doing that, it doesn't matter if you get the house. It doesn't matter if you get the money. You might get those things, but you're not who you want to be and who you need to be. So you got to show up. Life's short. That's been proven to me a lot. I've lost a lot of friends. A lot of times I feel like more than I should have at 35 years old. Lost another one yesterday. None of it's promised. So you got to lean into it now. You got to live the dream, man. So when someone says to you, hey man, I've seen you a while. What have you been up to? When you say, man, I'm living the dream, it's because you believe it. It's because you mean it. It's because you're doing the things that you need to be doing. You're building who you want to be. Maybe literally and metaphorically. Maybe that's your mind state. Maybe that's your body. It's your life. What do you want to look like? What do you want to be known for? Any of it. Create what you want. It's your life. You have free agency. It's wild to me. And people just float through life. And it's like, I mean, to each their own, but I don't want that. I want to create, man. I want to build the life that I want. For some people, maybe that's the money, maybe that's the cars, maybe that's the material things, right? It's nice to have nice things. But success isn't just monetary, right? It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Meaning you're successful because you're doing the things that you chose to do. Every moment's a choice, and every choice has prices and benefits. Choose who you want to be. Choose how you want to live your life. And use your agency to control what you can control, right? Easier said than done, I know. All these things that we're talking about practicing, I don't nail them with 110% accuracy every day, every week. But I get back to the drawing board as quick as I can, right? How do you speak to yourself? I've told a lot of personal training clients over the years that have some self-image problems, which we all have. We all have our own amount of dysmorphia, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm still a skinny fat kid, right? People think that's crazy, but we all have it, right? But what I tell these clients, if you wouldn't say it to somebody else, if you wouldn't say it to somebody else's face, then don't say it to yourself. The self-affirmations, right? You got to believe in you, especially if you're going to live the dream. Especially if you're going to create what you want to create, you got to believe in you. No one's doing it for you. No one's coming to save you. It's got to be you, man. So talk to yourself. I back my truck into my garage, because I'm gangster like that. No, but you know why I do that? Not for a quick getaway or anything like that. It's just, man, I like opening that garage door in the morning and it comes up. I usually leave the house pretty early. A lot of times the sun's coming up, so there's a little bit of sunrise. I got a nice little view from the garage when it opens. And it feels good to see that garage door open. And I look out, and you know what I say every day? Today's going to be a great day. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. And if you don't believe it, why is anyone else going to believe you, right? A lot of our dreams, a lot of our goals, a lot of the destinations involve other people or a team or a business. And if you don't believe what you're selling, why am I going to buy it? You got to believe it. You got to speak to yourself. You got to build yourself up. I struggle with that too. If you wouldn't say it to somebody else's face, don't say it to yourself. You got to be kind to yourself, right? But that doesn't mean making excuses for our shortcomings. It doesn't mean accepting shitty values or morals because of self-love. No, self-love is making the changes that you know you need to make so that you can be who you need and want to be. I want to live the dream. I am living my dream. My dream's progressive. It's growing. It's changing. What I'm doing right now, speaking to you, this is a new piece of it. We're always looking for the next thing, right? We're pleased but never satisfied. We're always looking for that progressive resistance that's going to help us change. But I want you to consider that next time you hear, oh, I'm living the dream, or if it comes out of your lips. Are you living the dream? Because if you're not, then we got to make a shift. The dream is our destination. Our destination is our journey. The journey is what matters because today is all we have. So consider those things. Get inspired. Get some motivation. Maybe this podcast creates some inspiration and some motivation. It's not going to last. So use it to plug into the discipline, to do what you need to do. Because like I said, the end of that math equation, order of operation says that discipline plus time equals results. I want results, and so do you. I want to watch you win. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Go out and build the life that you want. Build the better you. In the gym and out of the gym. You can always do one more rep. Live that one more rep philosophy. Talk soon.